Okay, how we looking? Can you guys see the slides? Online people?
Yes, all good.
Okay, perfect. All right. So welcome to data manipulation and management. This is the overview for the first class. It's not going to be terribly heavy, just an intro, talk about concepts. I'm James Card. And this is my first class that I've ever taught. So you're going to have to deal with that. Um, how this class is structured, this loosely, the first hour we'll kind of go over what we're going to learn. We're going to introduce ourselves, myself to you and you to me, the importance of data manipulation. We're going to talk a bit its background, terminology, definitions, basics, and then we're going to spend a good amount of time setting up our tools. So you've got my experience on the left. I've been doing pitch decks lately, so that's a copy paste of the description from one of those. But basically, this is my third career. So I started off in medical device sales, and then I became an administrator where I ran a spine institute. I was inspired to go back to school, and I programmed when I was in high school and regretted that I didn't keep doing that. And I always loved technology, was super fascinated by AI and automation. So, like all of you, I decided to go back and further my education and change career paths. That was back in actually 2014. I took another 18 months in software engineering. And then I hopped into a master's of data science at Northwestern University, which was an absolutely incredible program. Things about me: I love to cook, play guitar. I like creating music through AI. I love to play golf. I like to party. I'm an introvert disguised as an extrovert. I love sci-fi documentaries, movies based on like real stories. And well, I didn't put I'm married. I'm married. I got a wife, 3 kids, and a golden doodle named Bear. All right, so let's go ahead and briefly get to know all of you. And why don't we start with, you'll have to talk loud. We'll start with Luke, who's in the room.
Real quick, there's
Yeah.
some people online that says that you need to add them to the group. I don't know if that's Slack or the video.
Oh, here we go.
There we are.
Hey guys, sorry about that. You missed my introduction, but you can read it in the in the slide. I'm James, your instructor. We're going to go around the room and do just a brief introduction with all of you. So, Luke, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. My name is Luke Armstrong. I'm originally from near Bassett, Nebraska, which is a really small town, and I grew up in the country. And now I live below Cali Commons, or above Cali Commons, and my office is below Cali Commons, which is in Omaha on 40th in California. I'm kind of an art-centric person, so I tend to spend most of my time making things of one order or another. I'm a product designer, is my current job field, and just general design is my expertise. I'm interested in data science because a lot of the things that I do, especially the hardest things that I have to do, relate to data science. So explaining to people how I know the things that I know is very difficult. And usually how I order tests and stuff are very similar to how scientists and data scientists think. And so I wanted to sort of enhance the bits that I don't know and try to like deepen those a little bit. So that's
Sweet. Perfect. Yeah, you'll get a lot out of this. All right. Forgive me if I mispronounce this. Christelle.
It's got it right.
Got it.
Christelle, like Michelle. That's what I tell people. I am originally from Central Africa in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but Lincoln is home. That's where my parents are. And I moved to Omaha maybe 4 or 5 years ago. What I love to do for fun is anything that's creative, that brings my creativity from making candle scented products to just like crafty art or just randomly creating something strange or fun or beautiful. My current job, I work at this space. Again, it just involves creative. Every day I have to come up with like different programs for the community and things they have to do. And my field of expertise, I would say healthcare, because that's where I have my background, my bachelor degree in. And most of my work has been in healthcare. But then I became interested in data science when I wanted to go back to school to get my master's degree. I knew that I didn't want it to be in healthcare. I wanted to make something different. So I just went, I picked different schools' websites and then just read the descriptions of different programs they had. And one of them was data science, which really got my attention.
Sweet.
Because back home, actually, before moving to the US, I was studying mathematics and physics. So when I moved here, not really understanding the school system, I ended up going by the healthcare route. But I felt like it's something that if I had known, because I thought about getting a bachelor's degree in math. And someone told me that the only option I have with that would be to be a high school math teacher. So I was like, oh no, I don't want that. So I discovered data science and yeah, I'm here. And what I hope to get out of this class is just like to master SQL. I've been trying to teach myself for a few years now, like on and off. And I'm hoping by the end of this class I'll finally master it.
Great. Well, I hope you do. I'm not a master myself, but you'll know enough.
Yeah.
You'll know enough. Yeah.
Fluent in it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's see. I think that's. Can I see names here? All right. Jonathan. Oh, there we go.
All right. So I was born in LA, but I've been in Omaha my entire life. So I basically say Omaha is my hometown. And things I like to do for fun are mostly kind of art related things, which is like my field of expertise. I studied art history for my bachelor's degree. And I've been working in that field, mostly arts nonprofits and nonprofits in general. But right now I'm a freelance journalist, mostly focusing on kind of culture journalism. And I'm interested in data science mostly because I'm trying to transition out of nonprofit work into something else entirely. And I just hope to get an understanding of data science out of this class, really.
Awesome. Appreciate it. A lot of creatives in here so far. Patrick, you're up.
I am from Omaha. I've lived in different parts of Nebraska for my entire life. So, I mean, if you need to know around Nebraska, I can bring you anywhere. I've probably driven there. For fun, I really am a data guy. I like any overly complicated game, whether it's video or in person. Like, if there are mechanics and skills that like get weird and complicated and pair together, like that's the type of stuff I love. My current job, I'm actually unemployed because I typically do contract work, 6-9 month gigs, and there have been times I get it done early and I'm done. I've kind of exhausted a lot of my work, so I'm trying to take it a step up into a long-term career instead of living contract to contract. And that kind of goes into why am I interested in data science? Because I mean, I've done a lot of data. Everything that I do is data. I've been into a lot of fields. I've consumed a lot of data, and I love seeing what it says, seeing the direction it puts, the cause and effect of the things that companies do. Like, it's all incredibly interesting. In this class, I'm hoping to take all of my business work, my work experience in the field, and add the formal education certificates on top of it to push me to a higher level of work.
Great. Appreciate it. Jarlin, did I pronounce that correctly? Yarlene. There you go. Sorry. You got it right there, phonetically spelled out for me. Duh. I can't hear you. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Yep, got you.
Yeah, my name is Yarlene. I am originally from, I don't know why I spaced that, from Dow City, Iowa, very small town in Iowa. But I am in Omaha now. I've been here for like 7 years. I like to do creative stuff for fun too. Like I have a bunch of yarn. I like to crochet or read, hike, that kind of stuff. I currently work at Metro as a career coach. So basically, I just like help people apply for funding. And I was interested in data science because I kind of I want to work in higher ed, but I want to work in like a different side, like maybe not so much face to face. And I'm interested in data, and I just hope to understand more. Like I'm really enjoying learning about this so far, so I hope it gets better.
Great. Yeah. I mean, when you're working on data science problems, you get to sit by yourself in front of a computer for hours. You're going to love this. All right, Kobe, you're up next.
All right. I am born and raised here in Omaha, still here. As far as what I like to do for fun, I like to hunt, fish, anything outdoors, hike, and then just hang out with friends and family. Nothing too crazy. Currently, I'm doing sales for a linen company here in Omaha. I don't know if I'd call it expertise, but that's what I've been doing since I graduated. And then interest in data science, really, I think it's kind of the future. I think it's going to be a field that just continues to grow here as we move more and more towards technology. And then what I hope to get out of this class, just everything I can, honestly, just kind of here to soak it up and gain as much knowledge as possible.
Cool. Appreciate it. All right, Alec.
Hey, what's up? I was born and raised in Chicago, still here, in my parents' basement. I don't live here, but I just come to get away from my kids. So what I like to do for fun is a lot of sports oriented, like football. I play a lot of 16-inch softball in Chicago. It's really huge, where me and my buddies get a team together. It's an excuse to go out and drink on a Thursday night, get away from the kids. Some people take it serious. I just go just to get away. Also, I hate that I love golfing. I suck at it, but anytime I can get away for 3 hours, there I am spending my money thinking, oh, it's my clubs. No, I just suck. I guess field of expertise. I'm a really good bullshitter, really good talker. Talk to anybody. We could take a 3-hour road trip and we'll be talking. Hey, you like science? Cool. I like science too. I like black holes. And then you'll talk about black holes for an hour and thinking I'm an expert about black holes. Nope. I just let you talk for an hour. For data science, actually my buddy John Kong, he took some of these classes and was like, do you want to do it? I looked up the salary of like a data scientist. I'm like, yep, let's do it. Let's get out of here. Because whatever I was doing was not working. And to get out of here, I just want a job, man. You know, I graduated with my degree, haven't got any calls. And it's funny enough that as soon as I put data visualization on my LinkedIn and resume and Indeed, I already got like 6 companies messaging me. Great. When I was applying with my degree, I wasn't even getting responses. So as just keep going to school and hopefully I get these certifications and get a job.
You'll get there, man. It's a pretty hot field right now.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Josh.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised here in southern Indiana, not too far from Bloomington. So going to be Nebraska guys. I'm right there with you on the disappointment on Saturday because I'm not a fan of IU. So what do I like to do for fun? I enjoy going to auctions. The more borderline hoarder situation where you just never know what's going to be buried in a box, the better. Currently work for a contractor that does some stuff for John Deere dealers across the country with some quoting and stuff like that. What got me interested in data science, I've always kind of enjoyed, seeing how stuff's related number wise, but also this job, it's a lot of what we do is being able to look into stuff and figure it out. So as far as what I want to get out of this class is just learn something new and be able to use it.
Great. Thank you, Christopher.
Hey, everybody. Name's Chris Burma. I have lived in a number of states, but I call Nebraska home, specifically Omaha now. Been here for just a couple of years. What I do for fun, I love being outside, fishing, hunting, hiking, you name it. Anytime I can get off my computer after being on it for 8 hours, it's kind of my thing, is just kind of decompressing and going outside. My current job and field, I do media, marketing, and entertainment business operations here in Omaha for a company. Been doing that for a number of years. And what got me interested in data science was kind of my first big gig out of school. Was I helped kind of spin up a defense contractor, and we ended up doing some data work. And I was like the token outsider. So really looking to kind of understand it, kind of got me excited back in the day as far as like the capabilities of data, how necessary it is, and just how it kind of has a play in everything. So just had that itch for a number of years now and really excited to learn more about it. And that's kind of what I'm looking to get out of this class is how you can apply data and use it. And just kind of continual learning is a big thing for me. So just excited to soak in all that there is to learn.
Great. Marcus. I think you're on mute. Let's see. You're on mute, Marcus.
My bad on that. Yeah,
There
name's
you go.
Marcus Ethan. Born and raised here in Omaha. Things I like to do for fun: hunt, fish, golf, bowl. I love smoked meat for Husker game days, even watching them lose 56-7. Just a reason to drink more, I guess. Currently I do healthcare staffing. I've been in the industry for about 5.5 years. It's a love-hate relationship every single day, I think. What interested me in data science, honestly, everything you can do with it. The movie Moneyball kind of was a big influence initially to start with, just like all the statistical side of things with sports and how it's kind of moving towards that. The analytics versus, the old manager feel, things along those lines. And honestly, I'm looking to make a career change to get into this at the end of the day. So I'm learning as much as I possibly can about data sets, how to manipulate them, read them, utilize them is what I'm looking for.
Great. That's there is a Moneyball machine learning exercise. I'm sure it's floating around out there, but it's a fantastic introduction into multivariate linear regression models for machine learning.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll do some digging. I mean, we're not quite there yet, but when we get to that point, I'd definitely be down to try it out and see what it's all about. But it is fascinating, like, being a guy who played baseball his whole life, you're like, okay, what are statistics, right? It's every at-bat's a new at-bat and things along those lines. But it's kind of crazy how spot on analytics can be.
It is.
For a human-dependent activity, if you will.
Yeah, it's a really interesting feeling when you create a predictive model and then reality actually comes true, and it makes a pretty big difference.
Yeah, that excites me. That'd be something cool to kind of blend with.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Ali, how do I pronounce that?
Yeah, you got it, Ali. Yep.
Ali, got it.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Ali. I was born in Kenya. So I've been here in Omaha for 10 years now. What do I like to do for fun? Maybe enjoy some time with my friends, going out and spending some time, maybe playing Top Golf or other places here in Omaha. I'm currently working on a home care business, Regal Home Care Services, where we offer some personal care and companionship for seniors and adults with disabilities. So I've been working on that project on the line for a couple of months now. And the interest in data science field I think I guess it's because of my degree initially. It has instilled in me, the interest for this field. I have a bachelor's in mathematics that I got here from UNO. So I've done some Python classes and R. So I've done some data analysis jobs, so projects on the side. So I've had that for a while, and I hope to get out of this class the best I can, to get as much as I can with the basics of SQL and everything that I can learn.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. You mentioned Python and R, and that was, when I got done with my degree, that was my primary languages focused on, data science, machine learning, model building, AI, and stuff like that. I knew a little bit of SQL, but I was woefully underprepared. And so I used, in Python, there's a library called Pandas for data manipulation. It's pretty sweet. But the person that created that, he was asked in an interview this year, what would be your number one recommendation to data science? His reply was learn SQL, which is kind of interesting given that he created the world's most popular manipulation library in Python. We got one more in the back. How's it going? I'm James. Gotcha.
The Forest.
Yep.
I am born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. For fun, I don't know what I do for fun, honestly. I think my life is fun. So I just live life. Working on starting my own business, starting a media company and all that. So it's hard work and I get tired, but I would rather do that than do things.
Great.
Yeah, so my current job, I'm an entrepreneur right now. I hustle, working on music projects, taking gigs, and doing that sort of thing. And while I'm doing that, mostly on the weekends, Monday through Friday, I focus on building my business and developing skills to increase my success in that area. And I'm interested in data science because I'm understanding the more I build my business and the more I talk with investors that they don't really care about you as a person, which I know is sad to say. That's like the second thing they care about. The first thing they care about is data. And so unless you can tell a story with data and make it make sense, then everything else doesn't necessarily matter. Secondly, I see how valuable what you guys are talking about prior to this conversation is as it pertains to generating revenue. So that's my main reasons why I'm interested in it. And what I hope to get out of this class is a new skill set that could pretty much make me indispensable, because I know that business plans and stuff doesn't always work out, but I'll have these certificates and I'll be always able to take care of my family, and I'll be in line with the future trends of technology moving forward. So.
Great. Yeah, that's our last introduction, and appreciate all of you sharing that with me. I mean, I definitely was in your shoes a number of years ago, and something that I would encourage you to do is, I know some of you may want a career change, some of you want to enhance, your current roles, is try to find a way to apply what you're learning now. And I'm happy to help you brainstorm ideas if you want them. No matter the role that you're in at any employer, when you start using data and speaking like an Amazonian, which is speaking like a data professional, you're going to get leveled up immediately, no matter what role you're in. Rather than doing Kaggle competitions is what I'm saying. Like, hey, I did this random thing. It's way more impressive when you've actually applied it, what you do in your day to day. So why is data a superpower? If you think about it, data is like the veins in your body that carries blood to various areas like the brain and the heart, your feet. Businesses are really just processes and sub-processes and activities that are interconnected as a system. And data is what is generated by those processes, right? And so if we can understand how a business ticks, and then we can look through the windshield instead of the rearview mirror. Eventually, once we get to the data science, predictive analytics, and stuff like that, that's where you really become, irreplaceable as an employee. You'll understand operations and businesses probably better than anyone else there, except for maybe the CEO, depending on if they're involved, or founders or something like that. But you'll get there. C-suites and DeForest, right? You mentioned this. So top level executives, they communicate in facts, not hyperbole. In fact, a lot of them have an allergic reaction to hyperbole. So this happens a lot. Usually when I hear that, I'll say, what does that mean? Like 80% of the time, 90% of the time. I don't even care if you know the precise number, but if you give me a number, right, and it's important, I may say, okay, go back and let's pull the data, right? So there's a lot of different data roles and flavors that are out there. And I here's a few of them that are common. I mean, you could also throw in like business intelligence, developers, analysts. I think I can zoom in on this. Let's see. Go back to that.
Hey, James.
Yeah.
I got like all our faces blocking the bottom half of your.
That's what I wanted to say too. Can you redo them so that we're not blocking the bottom 25%?
How's that?
Works for me.
Got it.
All right. So I zoomed in on this. So, there's like there are some overlaps that are in here. So data engineers, I would say is definitely the most in-demand job there is right now. You can't do data science without really good data. And one of the major issues is data science is taught all over the place. There's a lot of university programs, a lot of certificates like this one. Universities don't have data engineering programs like a bachelor's in data engineering. And you kind of got to Frankenstein classes from different programs to get there. And they're typically more skilled than a DBA because they're also paying attention to efficiency, speed, optimization. They'll understand, how to effectively like democratize access while still maintaining federality and like centralized control of the database. Machine learning engineers, that's somebody who's going to take a predictive model and put it into production. So let's say if you're a piece of software is predicting a churn rate, which customers are going to cancel their appointment or not show up for something, that thing's going to be running live. So they're more of an engineer, less of a data scientist, but they still know their data science stuff pretty well. Your data scientist is going to be a lot heavier on your scientific method, your stats, your experimentation, and your machine learning modeling. They're going to be your kind of research, arm of what you're doing. And then your analyst is going to be like you guys took data viz, telling stories, business insights, delivering reports, that sort of thing. Okay. All right, let me hop back into. Okay, so why SQL, right? And everything starts with data extraction and manipulation. You can't do anything without this skill set. In fact, any data science project, I'd say 80% of it is just getting your data ready to go. SQL is the industry standard for programming languages that you're going to use for that. I'll get to my next point in a different slide. But so we got creation extraction. This is where you're creating your database, your data sets. Maybe you're combining more data tables together into one and pulling that into a different location or downloading it. Transformation. Let's say if we took a whole bunch of transaction or purchases from the grocery store and we want to aggregate that by customer to look at like average spend. Manipulating data. Let's say that there's a whole bunch of records in electronic healthcare record database where people were entering in like test patients and a whole bunch of stuff is missing and causing errors, and you want to get rid of that. And then we have storage and retrieval. So that's, that's where you're storing things in the database. You're going to grab it. And it's pretty typical that you're going to get data from a bunch of different locations, and then you're going to move it to somewhere else and then create new data models with that. So basic terms, what and why, we've covered a little bit of that. What is a SQL query? How do we obtain data? What's a relational database? What's a table? How is data structured within a table? What are the most common data types? And where can you learn more? So servers, that can either be on-premise hardware, or what you're going to most commonly see is in the cloud through your big three providers. So AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. A database is going to be on the server, and that's going to have, various tables within that database. Typically, you're going to have fact and dimension tables. So your fact table is going to be like, all of the things that happened, lots and lots and lots of rows. And then your dimension table is going to be information about maybe some unique items in there. Like if you had, your 200 Best Buy stores across the country, they're going to have like a unique key for each store. And then it's going to have a corresponding, location, maybe when it opened, any other information that could be relevant to that. And then you can combine those together. The schema is how things are connected together. And then columns and rows. I mean, if you've opened Excel and then you've got, you took data visualization, right? So, your first row is all the column names. And then you've got all the information below that. Database looks exactly the same. In your data viz class, did you have to build a model with various tables, or was it just like one table, or do you have to connect anything? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in your mind, think about it the same way. Okay. And then what a query is a SQL statement where you're getting things from that database. Structured query language, that's what it stands for. This is for managing, manipulating relational databases. Like I said, on-prem, that's like your physical server racks that are really going out of style. And then you've got stored in the cloud. It's good for what we're talking about. What it's not good for: AI, machine learning, data viz, robotics, process automation, statistical analysis. This is your language just to work with the data. Okay, so if you want to get technical and academic, we've got DML, and what I've put in here is some, I try to attempt at natural language to explain this. I'm changing, adding, removing data that's already there. DDL, I'm organizing it and deciding how it should be stored and defined. DCL, I'm setting permissions to control who can view or change things, which we'll get to that later. So all of you have created like a master read-only database, and then each of you are going to have your own database, and that's the reason for that is you're going to be manipulating that database, right? Your own. I don't want you manipulating the master, because that's going to be your truth source. That's going to be your reference as you look at it. And then if you delete something on accident and then it goes down for the whole class, right? So that's what we're talking about with DCL. Let's see, in transaction control language, that's really just version control. We're not going to get into much of that. Okay, so what is a database? I think we can probably skip this slide, but everyday examples, banking systems, stored account balances, all their transactions, social media, profiles, posts, connections, online shopping, product info, orders, customer details. So what's a table? A database can have a lot of tables, and most of them do. And most of them have a lot of fields within those tables. I'm currently working on a project right now where I'm setting up this orthopedic company, on their own, system, not reliant upon just the reporting that comes out of an EHR. It doesn't have enough for what they need. And it's got 5,000 different variables in there, over, hundreds and hundreds of tables. And so you can imagine it can be a bit challenging because you have to be able to find ways to sift through the noise to find the signal of what you're actually looking for. Common data types. This is a very important slide. And as we get to programming, you'll see some of this, and I'm sure we'll run into errors and things like that, because the programming language can only handle certain things. Like I can't count over text, right? Dates are notorious for causing errors. Because if it's not formatted across tables the same way, or sometimes if you pull it into Tableau, it's not reading it right. And the dates can actually change. You'll get some funky numbers and things like that. So it's always really important to understand and set your data types as you're working through these. So you can see within each of those, all the different ones. So numeric, your most popular you're going to use there is integer and float. So integer is going to be 1,000. A float is going to be 1,000.105. Your date, a lot of data you see in databases is going to come with a date and a timestamp with it. And then usually when you're running a query, if you don't want the timestamp nor care about the timestamp, you usually get rid of it. Character strings, that can get a little bit tricky depending on the text that is stored there. Usually what happens is you run a query and it flips up an error because there's, it's reading the text and producing, those strange symbols like a diamond with a question mark in it, or it'll start throwing errors like that, and then you've got to work through it. You can work with, like blob storage in Azure, which is basically like a file folder system in the cloud where you can just dump files in it, but then you can ping it with a SQL query, or JSON files. If you're accessing an API for like an application, typically that comes back in a JSON level format, and then you convert it over to a relational database structure. Some best practices. It's really important to stay organized. So I would take these to heart for sure. You capitalize all the SQL clauses, keep your fields and table names very well organized. It's important to find a really good convention that you maintain the same, and also name stuff for what it is. Don't be clever trying to use very short names for things. It's better to use a very long name for something so you understand it later. Like when you're going through 1,000 different tables, you want to be able to find your way around. Okay, where can you learn more? So the previous instructor has a lot of courses in here, and then I added my flavor of GPTs. Does everybody here have you used ChatGPT or Claude? That is literally going to be your best friend. And I would even use that as a learning resource. before ChatGPT came out, the old way of programming is you would take your error codes, you would Google them, you'd have to go through, blog posts to Stack Overflow, hopefully find a similar problem, and then take that code and try it and manipulate it. With GPTs used well, you can do that in a tenth of the amount of time that you used to do it before. And on top of that, you can ask it to teach you along the way. So, putting documentation within your code is incredibly important. So that is text descriptions of what your statements are doing, but it's muted out so that when the system compiles, it's not going to run that. And you can ask it to do that for you. Yeah. The deck? Okay. Yeah. Maybe not yet. But I can load it into the Slack channel for you. All right. So why don't we well, I'll stop there. Does anybody have any questions before we start setting things up? No. Okay. Okay, so I put links in the Slack channel. And so you can use Azure Data Studio. That's for Mac or Windows. If you have a Mac, you have to use Azure Data Studio. If you do, there is a free version for a month. It may or may not ask you for a card for that, a credit card. If it does, you can always just cancel it. If for some reason you forget and you do get charged, probably $4. And then SSMS is free, but it's only on Windows. And I can help you with either or in terms of setting those up. So the connection details are going to be the same, whether you're using Azure Data Studio or SQL Studio or SQL Server Management Studio.
So question. So I have Azure already. Where do you go to do a new connection at then when you're in your home page? Like it says Azure on top. Is it just create a resource?
Let me stop my okay, so no, that would be if you're going to go create your own resource and then server and then database.
Oh, okay.
So if you go, let's see here. Do you have does it look like this?
Let me.
So you're in the Azure screen. You'll have to, Azure Data Studio is different. So you want to download that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Let me go get that then.
Yep. So this is what Azure Data Studio looks like. This is what SQL Server Management Studio looks like.
Did you freeze up? Because I don't see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're frozen.
Oh, let's see. Am I frozen?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm downloading the studio then. Thank you.
Actually, let's stop sharing this. I don't think this thing's going to let me share other windows. Let me put that, yeah, hold on a minute. I'm just going to share the slide again here. Let's see, share screen. Okay. Can everybody see that? The connection details?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Action.
Alec, what did you mean by added to the class?
Oh, that was when I entered, you had to just click me so I can be in the group and talk to
that's
you guys.
right. Got it. Okay. You in? You see a table called US zips.
So I'm getting this firewall rule error. Not sure if anyone else is having that issue.
Oh, you know what it is you guys are remote, so I need to add your IP address for you to be able to access it,
Oh, gotcha.
which is fine. If you could just put your IP address in the Slack chat, and I can get that added. Yeah.
Are we just setting up like Azure and as right?
Just Azure Data Studio, and then you should be able to connect from there. Did that work for you, Luke? Okay.
You said just copy paste the
Yep.
IP into it. Okay.
Chris, yours should work now.
Why did it not?
Damn.
We just select the server in Slack.
You got a Mac, so did you get Azure Data Studio? You should be fine if you connected to the Wi-Fi here, because I've added that IP address already.
Okay. What about if we want to do home like that?
Yeah, just send me your IP.
On the password, for monkey, that's a 0.
Yes.
Okay. I have an issue somewhere, and I'm just trying to retype everything in exactly to see where it is.
I'm glad you called that one out because I totally missed that.
So every time I click on database to choose the database, it's bringing me to the firewall rule, where I select my account and say show my IP. But every time I click OK, it says that the server I've specified does not exist or has moved.
Server does not exist or has moved.
Yes.
Is it the fire? Are you having the firewall issue still?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you send your IP over yet?
No.
Yep. So if you go to what's my IP, it'll pull that up. So if you get your IPv4 address, I'll have that loaded, and then that should do the trick for you. You just drop it in the Slack for me. Yep, go for it. I haven't seen that, but there's a lot of data analysts that don't know SQL, where they just manipulate things in Excel or have somebody give them the data to build reports. You're venturing into BI developer territory. Yeah, because if you can get your own data, right, and load it into a data visualization program, I mean, you're essentially like the beginning stages of BI developer versus analyst. Once you start getting into Python, I'd say you're heavier in the BI developer territory, because now you can start automating pipelines and things like that. And then data science is when you start doing machine learning and AI. All right, Patrick, give it a shot. All right, Yarlene, I got you loaded. So I just sent you a SQL file that's got the first class homework assignments in there. You can open it in SQL. You can't run it. It's just text. But you should be able to open that in SSMS or Azure Data Studio. All right. How are we looking? Ready to anybody having issues with the installation or connecting to the server?
Yeah, it's saying the server I specified does not exist in any subscription. It says either I have signed in with an incorrect account or the server was removed from subscriptions.
That was one of the errors that I got until he added my IP.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting right now too.
Kobe, was that you talking a second ago?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I think I have you in here because you sent this over. 192.168.0.110. Okay. And I've got you in here. Was it the IPv4 address?
Yeah.
There's a 6 that pops back sometimes. Let's try. Are you 110 or 11?
110.
That's interesting. Okay. Are you using Azure or SSMS?
Azure.
We definitely got some other students connected here, so I'm trying to think through why that's still.
When you click on databases and it takes you to the firewall page, towards the bottom it gives you the option to click connect with IP. Does that match the IP that you sent the instructor? Because mine did. That's all I know.
So it says like add my client IP, and that's a different number than what is showing in my settings on my computer when I pull up my IPv4. Should we try that one?
Do you want to share your screen, Cubby?
Yeah. So this is what it shows here, and then when I pull up my settings, this is the IPv4.
Wu-Tang Land, that's funny. Go to Google and go to what's my IP. Oh, you're creating a new firewall rule? You shouldn't have to do that.
So that's what. So when I click connect here, that's what pops up.
Yeah, go back. I think it's something else.
It did that to me every time until you added my IP.
Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and check you go to what's my IP. I'm just curious if.
Okay, yeah, it does give me a different one.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, because I was wondering why I had two similar numbers. Marcus, Ethan provide like almost the exact same thing, but without a 0.
Uh-huh.
Where do we go for these at then? Sorry, I was.
Try what's my IP.
Okay.
Just Google just type what's my IP into Google and it'll pop up for you.
Yeah, no, that one matches the one that it shows in Azure when that firewall rule thing pops up.
Try it again. Kobe, you should be good.
Okay. Yep, that worked. Thank you.
I'm pasting it right here in the chat too. Damn.
Yeah, something you're going to learn, especially when you get into Python, is just setting it up, installing and configuring is like harder than the actual coding. Oh, all right. All right, Marcus, you should be good to go.
Okay. Perfect. Let me. Voila, it's a miracle.
You're going to have that feeling about another 10,000 times.
Mine still isn't working. I'm trying to log in again to see what message pops up, but I have
Yeah.
not been able to do anything.
If you let me know, we'll figure it out.
I just updated my IP address.
It worked this time.
How are we doing? You good? Mm-hmm.
We were just trying to open it inside of the Azure Data Studio, but it wasn't liking it for some reason.
Mine's
No.
still not log connected.
It opens fine for me.
Sorry. Who said that?
That was me, Alec.
Okay. What's your error message? I can just it's not that important for you to open that in there. I can drop that in the questions in the chat. Okay. Okay. Alex, you say you're still not working? I think you're on mute.
Hold on. Yeah, let me try it out again. You want me to? It says a network related or instance specific error occurred while establishing connection to the SQL server.
You want to share your screen with me?
I got screen 1 up there. I don't know what I'm missing.
It looks good. You got to let's try the selecting the database. You can type it in if it's not loading.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let's try the go to Google. What is your IP again? I want to double check that. All right, let me see if I have that.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So yeah, give me that IPv4. I think you might have given me that one. 75253.140. All right, let me try to add this again. I re-added it. Let's try again. What in the world? Let's do you have a space possibly in like the server name at the end after net.net slash? Anything before it, or even with the username and password? No. And for the password, that's you're typing a 0 instead of an O for monkey.
Yeah, I literally copied and pasted as well.
I think what I did is I took off the HTTP and the double slash and then the slash at the end, and I was able to log in.
Hey, there we go.
Are you serious? There's no way. All
Dude.
right.
Yeah. So guys, this is common. Very, very common. The configuration, the installation will make you want to rip your hair out. But once you get going, we're going. Okay, so we're all good. Everybody's connected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so might as well start the homework assignment. So how do we begin to answer these questions, considering, you may or may not have been introduced to SQL queries? The first thing, and, if you've got one of the GPTs, use it. If not, you can Google things, but I'll start walking you through it. Let's see. So the first thing that I would do is you can, and this is super helpful, is you can right click on your data table and then select the top 1,000 records. So this is going to give you a preview of that data table. Select SQL is very like common language, like English. It's not, when you get into some of the other languages, it may not be as intuitive. And so what this is going to do for me is I can start to see what the data looks like. And I also have all of the column names that I need. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Let me take a look for you. Yep. And so if you go to the Slack channel, I put all the parameters in there. And then you'll want to go to no, never mind. You're fine with the IPs. You're in the class. Yeah. What's that? Go up here. Click there. Tables. There you go. Right. Right click that. Select top 1,000. Boom. There you go. You got it. Yeah, you should be good. Let me know if you have an issue.
I wasn't able to see what was on the screen. I don't think you're sharing it.
Yeah, I keep forgetting this screen share is having me pull Google tabs. I may not be able to see if I do this. So
Not seeing where you where it says database, ODSA is not
so just type it in, because that drop down list takes a while to update. Okay, can you see my Azure Data Studio? Select top 1,000, then it's got a table.
No, I'm seeing like the Steam yard or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay, how about now?
Nothing changed on my end.
Okay. Anything now?
I can see it now.
You
Yeah.
can't?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on on this elevator guest Wi-Fi?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so is everybody able to select the top 1,000?
Can you repeat how to get to that screen? I didn't see it.
Yep. So in the top left, you'll see this server icon. And then you should see underneath that this database, your ODSA read-only DB. That should drop you down into tables. And then you should see dbo.us_zips. You right click, select top 1,000.
I see it now. Thanks.
Perfect. How you doing, DeForest? Did it connect yet?
Yeah, those servers, then I select the drop down. And I right click dbo.us.
Select top 1,000. All right.
Okay,
Perfect. So I'm going to do a new query. And so select zip. So that's going to be the name of the column that we're going to select from US_zips. That's going to be the table name. Later on, we're going to work with some other data sets. So if I did, I could interchange that with world.city or these other tables here, but you'd have to have the columns that are in that data table. Where, so there's a column that's the state name is Iowa. So, and then I'm going to order it by zip code in, numerical order. Boom, there we go. All the zip codes in the state of Iowa.
Can you show me again, or show us again real quick, how you got through like that whole process? Because I have the top 1,000 pulled up, but then from there, where'd you go?
Okay, so I go to File, New Query.
Okay, one sec here.
There
we go.
Yep. So something to note with SQL queries and running this, it has to run in the entirety. Later on, when you get into like Python, or I'm not sure if they teach R or not, you can run select snippets. It doesn't have to be the entire thing.
Okay. And then from
Yep, should be blank.
Will you type that code?
Yeah, I'll throw it in here.
Will we save our queries, or how will we send these to you?
Yeah, sure. Yep. Just save your query, and then you can send it to me. I'll put my email address in here. Yep.
So if I change the state name, obviously change all this.
Mm-hmm.
how many zip codes did you get for Iowa? Did you get 970? Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I ran this correct then.
$970.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Got it. So let's do. All right. So I don't know if you guys saw that. I just asked ChatGPT to give me, list out all the unique state values. There we go. This is why I say ChatGPT is your best friend. So why don't let me find one that's a little bit more complex here, where there's a calculation going on.
So for that information, you have to select the folder to.
You have to. So you're selecting columns from the data table. So yeah, if you think of tables as your folder, and then you could think of US_zips as your file.
And that's the database that we're connected to. The server that
Yep. So your server is going to be your higher level, like the top level of the hierarchy. And then you're going to have your database below that. So if you look at my instance, I've got databases for all of you. So like I can connect to Ali's here. And then I've got US zips loaded. So that's one where you're going to have permission to actually write things, delete things, change the data.
So, I was just wondering, like, how to correct it from ChatGPT. So, like, write SQL script over.
Good question. So how do you properly prompt ChatGPT? Well, first it's going to need to know a little bit of information about what you're working on. So what I would do is I would feed it the table name, so dbo.us_zips. And then I would feed it the list of columns, right, which you can pull from top 1,000. Let's see. Actually, let's go. Yep.
and table.
Yeah. This is going to be a better query if you want to load into ChatGPT, because you're telling it what the data types are, which are important.
Do you have to run like a new query every time you answer a question? Or should you do multiple ones?
You can do a ton of stuff. I mean, SQL queries can get, 200, 300 lines of code long, easy. It just depends on what you're doing. It used to be, I used to prefer grabbing data as is, coming right out of the database with not very much manipulation unless I had to, and then manipulate using a Python library called Pandas. That was mostly because it was when you're pinging a database, it depends on the resources that are supporting it. And so if there wasn't very good resources, you could be sitting there for a very long time if you were trying to do data manipulations over, millions of rows of data. So that's why I tried to get it just as plain Jane as I possibly could. And then, especially if I'm trying to understand the data and I need a lot of horsepower to do it, the Python library is more efficient. It's quicker. And I'm doing it on my laptop locally. So if you're getting data out, right, and let's say if I'm just grabbing this table as is, and I just want the whole data table, that's going to be much faster than if I'm going to do a bunch of data manipulations while that data is trying to come out of the system. One of the other practical challenges of that is, as you're working through it, like, you've got to get the SQL script 100% correct. Otherwise, it's not going to run. If you're trying to understand the data and transform the data and cleanse the data, and you're doing it in Python, you're creating data frames for different steps throughout the process. So if you imagine you've got to do 20 different data manipulations, and you want a different data frame for each manipulation, you've got one right, you're good to go. That's going to work, and you can run that portion of code. You don't have to get all of it correct. So then you can go to the next piece that you need to do, work it out, right? And then kind of keep going along the way. You can also embed SQL in Python. So you don't have to do everything inside of a SQL Studio. But SQL's a more common language to do this kind of work in. So it just, kind of a happy medium there is you could get the data like just outside of the as is, and then you could do or make a copy of that database. So on your own, so that you're not reliant on whatever that external server is doing, and then you could develop your script from there. Because you don't want to have to change something and then you're sitting there for 10 minutes and then it's like, oh, error. Then you change something and you're sitting there for 10 minutes, right?
So it takes 2 minutes to run the SQL script.
It can. It can. You don't want that. Like I said, it just depends, on what you're trying to pull. And, like working in healthcare, like right now I'm working with Greenway Intergy, which is a pretty big electronic health record system for like single and mid-sized physician offices. And it's terrible for me to get 3,000 rows and 15 columns of data. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. Right. When, at my last employer, I could get 2 million rows and 50 columns in 3 seconds.
That's depending on the quality of the service.
Correct. Correct. Which internally you can control. You can't control when you're pulling data out of somebody else's software. Yep. So I hear people clicking around. Are you working on the assignment? Nice. I'm not opposed to it. Claude's nice because it has artifacts. I know GPT launched its, version of that, which I, for some reason can't get mine to work, even though I've been a Plus Pro member since like day one. But it's artifact or it's Canvas feature. Yeah, yeah. And then if you, it is. Yeah, Claude's easier. And what's nice about if you use Claude and you're working through a database that has, let's say, 10 different tables, you can ask it, make me a schema. Yeah. It is. There's some crazy ones too. There's some that are for developers where it'll actually push like executions into GitHub with version control. Yeah. It's wild. I am going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Was there anything in particular we're supposed to be doing, or just kind of following along?
I thought we were supposed to be working on the assignment, so I've been trying to chug away a little on that.
I agree.
I could be very wrong on that, though.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm like, am I following along, or is the screen frozen again?
Bless you.
I asked ChatGPT.
I loaded a SQL script where you can keep going towards the bottom. So this will give you the name of the columns and the data types.
I have that. I was trying to learn how to do it.
So then you can try to copy those into ChatGPT. The column names and the data type table. Yeah.
So here, copy these.
Go back to your output from, I think it was that one, right here. Just, take a screenshot of that and load it.
Oh.
Hey, James, I got a question for you.
You bet.
So I'm on the Colorado one with the city without duplications, or how many unique towns there are, I guess. And when I'm doing it, I'm pulling up. It's like giving me a town for almost, like for all however many zip codes there are. And so I'm getting a lot of duplications around like the Denver zip code, obviously Colorado Springs. I guess I'm really not sure on how I can eliminate the duplication.
How many unique town names are there in Colorado?
I did the select from, where, and order by here in SQL.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, you want to share your screen so I can see your script?
Yeah, let me.
I think after you know, I think there may be a dot not connected to the referee.
Yep.
So I understand that.
Okay, can you see it?
1 second. There we go.
Yes, I mean, pretty simple. And like I said, when I scroll down, that's where I'm getting a ton, like Colorado Springs, Denver. Is that what you were looking for? I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to do a distinct count on city.
Okay.
And let me put that into the Slack.
Distinct counts. Okay.
So it's select count, parentheses, distinct, city is your column name, ending parenthesis as unique town count from, it's in the Slack chat there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's one of the most common functions you're going to use is counts and distinct counts.
Perfect. Okay, that's good to know. I appreciate it.
You bet. Did you load that into ChatGPT yet?
So if I.
Yeah, go back to the. Did you load this yet?
No,
Because it doesn't know the column names of the table yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So once it has this and it's got your table name, then you could put the question in. Okay, so now let's try one of the questions. And just say, write me a script to do that. And then what I usually do too is, especially because you're learning, is to explain to me what the script is doing. Yeah, so if you're using a GPT, it's really important that you don't just take its answers without understanding what it's doing. Today you'll be able to get away with it, but in the future, like I run into issues with it all the time, and if I didn't understand, have that experience already, it would be hard to get through it. And then you'll find yourself in a chat loop that's just extremely frustrating, where it keeps making the same mistakes over and over again.
So to even, I'm gonna ask my question just to make sure I got
It's all good. Fire
To
away.
even get to the point where we screenshot a table, we need to open up the table and select top 1,000.
So top 1000 is going to give you a preview of the table. It's automatically going to list all of the columns there. Why I provided the other script that says the data type is because it's going to need to know that.
Okay.
Especially when you start doing, averages, counts, things like that. And if that data type is incorrect, it's going to throw back an error in SQL, and then you've got to. It's not going to understand why. You can always put the error message in there, I guess, but you should just let it know right away what data types are, and that's super important. Like if I'm doing data manipulation in Python, I'm manually identifying all of the data types when I pull something in.
So you gave us kind of a head start to get into like the basics.
Yeah, because once the way that, if you load the table name and then you load the column names with their data types, you can start asking the questions, and through GPT answering those questions, it's going to give you a good foundation of the basic SQL functions. I mean, you can Google it, but it's going to take you 10 times the amount of time to figure it out.
Last question, do we need to open up a new query for all of these? I think so.
Yeah. You want to save each query for each question. What's that?
Once you finish these, do that.
No, you can just email me the queries. Is this what y'all usually do? Just chilling, working.
I think so. Pretty much.
I think it's the Mozart.
So how do you connect ChatGPT to the server?
So you don't connect ChatGPT to the server, but what you can do is feed it information about the server, about the table, and about the different variables and their types, and then you can use it to construct queries that you can then copy and paste. Thank you, Jonathan.
Hey, Slack too, is that okay?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. I have DMs. Still getting used to this. Thank you, Luke.
Sorry, I'm taking forever. I'm just now getting onto ChatGPT. I was trying to do them by hand, but that's not going to be very efficient apparently compared to everybody else. So,
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you were saying it, and I just kind of got caught in my own head going. I saw you put a little bit ago in there. What information, I guess, how'd you formulate the information to throw into ChatGPT so it has it? Do you just throw it into another message to ChatGPT or what? I've never used it before.
Yeah. So you just have a message to ChatGPT. You say a little bit about what you're doing. Hey, I need help writing some SQL queries.
Okay.
Provide it the table name, the US or dbo.us_zips. And then I provided, let me go back to that group. There we go. And then I provided a script that is, it's like select column name, comma, data type from information schema.com.
Okay, gotcha. I see it.
Yeah, so you can either screenshot that. I mean, if you can, and this is a small table, so you can definitely screenshot it and load it that way. If you do it the other way, you'd have to copy, the entire table and throw it in there, which it can absolutely handle that.
Okay.
And then from there, you should be able to have it construct your scripts for you.
So do you think my chat transfer? Can you see how I use it?
Sure. Yeah, I think that would
So the
help.
general channel. Everybody should be able to get to it. I don't share stuff very often on ChatGPT, but I think it should work.
Yeah.
There's no right way, so it's just the way I do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million ways to skin a cat. There's only a wrong way when it's throwing up an error message.
Or you get something you didn't want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when you get stuff unintended with no error message.
Did you want us to do all of the questions and then turn it in?
Yeah, and sorry, look, you can just I said save a new file for each question. That's mainly for your reference, but if you want to provide it in one next time, that's fine. Yeah, save you some time. You can just provide all the scripts in one file. I think my bad, man. I told you to do that. No, this is it today. Yeah, you can take off. You bet.
All right. See you Wednesday. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can have it create web scrapers.
I don't know how to. I mean,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, as long as you have a quality control check of something, you don't, I shouldn't say this, but you know, you can kind of get away with not understanding all of it.
Yeah, I think the things I worry about are just like
Yeah.
pretty aware of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I took down the entire WebMD website. And, yeah. And I mean, it's not illegal because it's not behind a paywall, but like they'll red flag your IP. So then I was like, okay, let me do a bunch of phantom IP addresses. And then you don't want to pull too much too fast, right? So then you got to create randomized intervals, and then you can kind of not get picked up by their by their detection systems and their servers. And then it becomes a balance of, okay, you know, why, you know, I'm trying to get California, it's going to take 3 days, which is fine if, you know, yeah.
Yeah, then like Google and other.
Yeah. Sites they're starting to kind of put some barriers to web scraping up there because it wrenches their servers pretty hard. They don't like it. Plus, data's their asset, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really the same thing that Google does. I mean, really, they're robots that are saying type of scrapers and
Hey James, I'm still working on a few questions, but do you mind if I pop off real quick?
No, this is a homework assignment. You know, I'm around.
Okay.
If you need me,
I'm figuring out the Chat GPT, so I should be good to go. I'm working on that one, and I actually know Kobe in the class, so if I'm not, if I have questions, I'll come to you, or might pop and ask him then too.
All good.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Later. Do you know if I end this stream, if it's going to kill the connection, or is it just going to stop the recording?
I know you can stop the recording independently of killing the stream.
Okay. I may do that.